Hello there, today is the video I've finally been waiting for, and today we are going to be mocking the new Clone Trooper versus Battle Droid battle pack, which I do have right in front of me, and you won't want to miss it, especially if you want to know how to build this minifigure scale larger Droid, which honestly it's a lot of fun. I will be building a AT-RT walker, probably a BARC speeder. I do want to get a mech built, and who knows what else we'll be building, so stick around to the end. I do have a special treat just out of camera, so you do not want to miss it. And I think let's get straight into the first build. And just before we get into the first modification we will be making, before we get into any of the mocks, I'd just like to show you once again, you can purchase arms for your clone troopers, and they do look really nice. They just bring the new, especially these shiny clone troopers with not much colour, not much detail. It just gives them that extra detail needed to show them off amongst your display. And of course the shock trooper also has them. You can buy a few for your gunship as well as all the other clone troopers in your collection. And in fact, I'll probably go back and buy a few arms for the clones that I don't have these custom arms for. Do use my code FIRESTARTOYS. Also print on official Lego pieces, so there's no worries of them getting injured, damaged or wear off against your other bricks, because it's all Lego, so it is very nice. And you can actually see the first modification I've made to this STAP speeder. I won't be showing it off in this video, you'll have to check out the review for that. So I guess we'll put on the regular base, move this to the side, get rid of all of these droids, extra buildings, and even this speeder, as the first modification is focused on this Tri-Droid. Now, there are in universe two sizes of Tri-Droid. We will be building them both, and I'll be showing you everything you need. And in fact, the first one's pretty easy, because all you need to do is remove all of the sort of larger Technic bricks. These things is what I'm trying to talk about. Remove the three of them, and you have a to scale smaller Tri-Droid, which, as you can see, does fare up quite well against the Clone Trooper. I think it's meant to be about 2.5 times the height or something around that mark. I think it's around the 4 meters mark, so just over 2 sizes of the Trooper, which you can see it is in fact 2 sizes. And just to prove that these are to scale, I do have a stack of bricks representing the height of the Tri-Droid, and you can see it is more or less level with that dome piece on top. Now, of course, you can still change the legs and have it a bit higher than usual, but when the legs are like this is how tall it is. It works the same as an in-universe Tri-Droid, and it's just a bit more accurate to that height. Now, I did say there were 2 sizes, and we are going to need these 3 bricks back, because this is how tall that new droid is. Let me switch up the camera angle, because this droid is absolutely massive. I think this one's meant to be about 15 meters tall, and just to compare it to the smaller version, I have mocked it out here with all my spare pieces. You can see it's just down there. It's really so tiny compared to it. I mean, it is meant to be a quarter of the height, and I'll try and put a better image that represents the both of these. I just don't have the space to show them both off at the same time on camera. You would need 7 extra sets just for this brick. Now, of course, you can use these pieces up here as well to fill in the gap, so you'd probably only need about 3 or 4 of these sets. But if you're like me and bought a lot of the 501st battle packs, I'm sure you've got enough of them to suffice. It does support itself. If you pull out one leg, it does start to fall, as with anything that stands on 3 legs. But I just wanted to show off the sheer monstrous height of this being, and of course you'd probably have a bigger dome on top so the legs wouldn't be as fragile, but you just don't get enough pieces, really any pieces, to increase the height of the dome, so it's all in the legs, and technically it's minifigure scale. But I definitely favour this smaller one. Not only is it just more manageable, but it also just looks a bit better with the same size dome on top. So of course I have made sure it is minifigure scale. You can see if I angle this, the blue is the smaller one and this tan is the bigger one. So it does hold up to the height. It's probably about a plate shorter than this pole, but that is only our first modification. And if we were to take a look and compare it to the mock that I made last year, it's not my mock, but it is another Tri-Droid that I've put together, and is a lot more fragile than Lego's model. You can see that they are about the same height. Again, as I said, this is a much more fragile model, so it makes it a lot harder for it to stand up on its own 3 legs. But it is about the same height as this one with the bricks removed, so I am quite happy that it sizes up well with that missing brick, and it just gives me much more to put towards AT-RT walkers or some other sort of build. But funnily enough, it isn't used in the AT-RT MOC for this set. And here is the first of the 3 rebrickable models. Honestly, I'm so happy with how this turned out. This is the AT-RT walker, and if I grab one of the phase 1 clones, you can indeed just clip him in the pilot seat. You have to have the hands facing inwards just so he can clip to that front sort of handlebar piece, and he does sit quite nicely in this walker. And as you can see now, he's finally clipped in. I decided to stand him up because you also get this slope a bit nicer towards the front. And also it does look like he's actually riding it like a bike, as you see in Universe. So it does look quite cool that way, but I'm very happy with how this model turned out. You do have a turret that can angle down a bit. It's the problem with a load of minifigure scale AT-RT walkers. Of course, this is minifigure scale. Why would I make it any other dimension? But you can't really have them aimed down towards the ground, which is where really they would be shooting. So that was something I definitely had to include in this model, and the feet for this model are just put together so well. I don't know if I can pull it off without breaking the foot apart, but as you can see, there's just a bunch of different techniques used here, all legal. This build is completely legal and fairly straightforward to put together yourself. I think the only real problem I had with the instruction manual was on this front piece here, you are putting on this barred 1x2 plate before you've got anything to hold it, so you've just got to rest it there. But fear not, the next step literally has you put this 2x2 jumper plate on, which secures everything in place. Of course, any problems with that, let me know on Rebrickable, let me know on this video, and drop me a comment really anywhere, and I'll try to make sure I see it and can respond very quickly. But I'm very happy with this AT-RT walker. I'll probably end up merging the 3 instructions under the 1 rebrickable page, just so it's a bit cheaper to get your hands on all of them, rather than charging for them all individually. Especially, you might find yourself picking up another battle pack a few months down the line and decide you want to build another one. Well, if you purchase any of these instructions, you do have access to the other 2. And speaking of, what goes better with an AT-RT walker than a BARC speeder? If you thought the AT-RT was cool, wait till you've seen what this BARC speeder can do. It's so detailed. You've got the little bit sticking out the front. Even the underside is patterned how you'd expect to see a BARC speeder. The minifigure can sit flush, or again, you can stand him up like I did with the AT-RT walker, but I think he looks a bit better sat down for this model. And one of the best things about is right here at the back with the shield. I'll show you once firing it into my hand and then a closer look. If I'm center him, you push down on the shield. You push down on the shield. This was working a second ago. All right, for some reason that stud doesn't want to launch. But what you do is you push down on the shield and there you go. It fires out the stud in this stud launcher here. I might have a dud stud launcher on the bottom bit there. But basically, this shield pushes down on that clip here and it fires out the stud just like so. There you go. The stud launcher does seem to work, but for some reason doesn't want to work with the... Anyway, the top one works. So as you can see, it just fires it out and bounces off the wall and hitting the back of my hand. I'm pretty sure the camera didn't even catch that, but you saw the mechanism at least, and that's what matters. It's an awesome play feature. I'm not sure why the bottom one, maybe it's because I've got it upside down, but it does look really cool. Fits into the design. Of course, you've got the fins out the side, you've got the blasters there. I've replicated that at the front with the pieces that we've been given. It's a great model. Again, if you want to buy this, you get the instructions for both this and the AT-RT. Pick up a second battle pack and you've got the AT-RT and the walker. I've got to pick up a second battle pack and see what they both look like built next to each other, but thanks to the magic of Studio, I'll just put up an image of them both side by side. And last but very much not least, we have this Clone Trooper mech, which does come with this nice long black sword, which is actually made with 3 of the candle elements and the bar on top. It's a very detailed mech. It's got a whole range of features. Of course, we've got rocket boots. We need rocket boots on a mech. You've got a shield to defend against the other mech. Perhaps you bought 2 battle packs, you want 2 mechs, and you could put quite easily a B2 in it, or even a B1 pilot in it. It's got the 2 clips just at the bottom so that they can actually stand in it rather than the typical minifigure panels that you expect to see in a Lego mech. Of course, we've also got some nice detailing on the back, and overall it was just a really cool build and a fun one at that, if you didn't want to build a in-universe Star Wars vehicle. I haven't used all the pieces from the battle pack, so if you didn't want to pick up another battle pack for the figures, I think you can buy all the pieces to build any of these 3 builds for about £7.50, and of course you have to equate for shipping into that as well. But alongside the instructions for the 3, you're looking at a tenner per MOC, which is about right. I think these would go for about £9 Lego sets if they were officially licensed by Lego, which of course they never are going to be. But I really do enjoy these MOCs. I think my favourite out of the 3 has to be the BARC speeder for that mechanism on the back where you can actually shoot the studs. But that is all for today's video, and I have just rebuilt the battle pack for the outro. I just like the battle pack so much. I'll definitely be removing them extra bricks on the Droid just to get it the height of the smaller one in universe, especially when I create my display. But honestly, the rest of the set can stay just how it is. That tends to be how these models work. With the ATRT from the 501st battle pack we got a few years ago, all it really took was removing one of them extra bricks. So I'm happy that Lego are including them for the larger playset models, and it's just easier for kids to play with a bigger model generally. But I will once again be removing them, adding them to my pile of ever-growing Technic hinge bricks. And the final alternate build, I did try to build a few droids. I'll put an image up on screen because I have actually replicated them in studio, but they look like stuff from Star Wars Nightmares, so I won't be building them here. Instead, the only thing I'd want to see is this brick on the back of this Gonk droid. This is the exact same model from the TIE Bomber, and honestly, that would have just completed the set for me. That would have been the only thing I can really critique other than the legs of the Droid. But I honestly love this battle pack. It's the only real Lego set. I say the only real. It's the only Lego set that isn't aimed at 4+ or a polybag that came out for Star Wars this January. And I know we've got a lot to look forward to in May, and there's already rumours coming out about sets later this year. But I really do think this held its own in that January slot, and people probably spent the same amount of money they usually would on Star Wars sets just on this battle pack. So I really do love it. Of course, we've got the super battle droids, or the B2 battle droids. The arms of the clones really make them stand out amongst not only this set but also my wider collection, and I can't wait to see what we've got else for Star Wars 2024. So if you did want to support the channel, do head over to Rubricable, check out a few of my MOCs. Thank you to everyone who has been buying all the MOCs, even the older models. There is no expiry or retirement for the Rubricable instructions, so do check out some of the older ones. I'll leave both links in the descriptions. If you want the arms for your clone troopers, be sure to use my code also in the description on Firestart Toys. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe for more awesome Lego content, and to reach 1,000 subscribers by May 4th. I really don't know if that's possible, but if we're going to have some sort of target, you might as well go big. But thank you for watching, and may the bricks be with you always.